The water temperature today is 30 degrees. I'm gonna be out there for 2 minutes. And you start proving to yourself time and again that you can achieve something. When you do it, you start believing that you can actually do anything. Welcome to the second episode, and this one's going to be about my journey as an half-Ironman. An Ironman race is, well, there's two. There's a full Ironman and then there's the half-Ironman. I just completed the half-Ironman, which is a 1.2 mile swim followed by a 56-mile bike ride, and then topping that off, if that wasn't enough, with a half marathon, 13.1 mile run. I started running 2 years ago, and I've been consistently running anywhere from 20 to 40, sometimes 50 miles a week, depending if I'm training for something, if I'm just trying to keep a steady pace. Biking I started this year, and relative to the other sports, I feel biking you can progress rather quickly if you just spend time on saddle and spend time outdoors biking. And just having an indoor trainer that I got recently really helped me train during the winter days when it's cold outside and windy outside. Swimming is tricky. I grew up in a country that swimming isn't as advertised and isn't as well taught to everybody. I barely do a 25-meter lap in a pool without being gassed out this year in February, and it took some friends who knew better swimming than me and just a bunch of YouTube tutorials and just spending more time in the pool. I don't feel I am a good swimmer still. I would consider myself below average swimmer, but I do have to realize I did swim something that most swimmers don't even try, and I accomplished it, so that counts for something. Run. Training for a half Ironman looks different to everybody, I'm sure. Mine was a 6-week plan that I followed. My training was about anywhere from 10 to 12 hours a week, I believe. Had just come off running a marathon, so my legs felt like they would hold up pretty well, and I spent mostly just doing tempo work, race pace work, and just one aerobic long run, especially doing at least one brick run a week, which is running off the bike, which is very important. And I think a lot of people who try their first Ironmans and 70.3s overlook is running off the bike, because you're in for a long day. You've just swam and you biked 50 miles. Now you need to be able to, your body needs to be able to handle putting that impact on the ground with your feet, and that's where the brick runs come into play. Very important to do brick runs, very important to do race pace work and the tempo work, because that's where you'll spend most your time in the run. It's in that LT1, LT2, the lactate threshold zones, anywhere from 80 to 90% of your max heart rate. Nutrition wise, I just mostly ate as much as I could, healthy. I do enjoy my weekly pizza from Sam's, ice creams when it's still warm outside. So I don't like to miss out on my guilty pleasures, but I have to be moderate about it. Apart from real food, I got the cheapest soluble carb mix from Amazon, Tailwind Nutrition. It gives you the electrolytes and carbohydrates that your body needs when you're in a long session. Fueling is very important during a good hard session, because you don't want nutrition to be stopping you from training in your full potential. A lot of times athletes jump in a race, take loads more of carbs and loads more of sodium than they usually are in training, and they suffer. So it's very important to practice nutrition and strategy that you would do in your race during your training as well. Overcoming the fear of open water. I guarantee you I will still be scared the next race I do. Helps you a lot when you know you can do something. There's always going to be fear, there's always going to be anxiety, there's always going to be uncertainty, but once you do something, now you know, your body knows what it feels like, you know that you're able to do it, and you can tell yourself that you've done it before, and no matter the sticky situation you find yourself in, you can do it. Coming from a non-swimming background and learning how to swim efficiently and properly and for distance later age in life, being in the water helped me a lot. I think going to the open water and just putting your head down, putting some yards in on the open water, practicing siding in the pool itself and open water, practicing being around people in the pool, that helps a lot. I believe just having the mentality that you're going to be able to do it. You're going to face a hard time. You're gonna panic. You're gonna still do it. I failed a triathlon before where I panicked and hyperventilated. Much of the heartbreak that was. I knew I had it in me. I didn't give up. I didn't quit, but I continued to learn more. And now I'm here finishing a 1.2 mile swim and half-Ironman. The race for me was very mental. Coming in the race, I was unsure if I was going to be able to finish the swim. I just wanted to finish the race. I didn't have much expectations going in. I went with how I felt rather than hitting a certain number or hitting a certain time. I swam in 52 minutes, which is right about 2 minutes 30 seconds per 100 yard. The first half was indeed very scary, and I had to breaststroke a couple of times just to find my way in the water. Honestly, I don't remember much of the swim because I think adrenaline just took over me, and if I try to think about it now, it feels like it was 2 minutes. But I spent 52 minutes in the water, came out, felt ecstatic. I didn't run in the first transition. I took it slow. I was all over the place. I was kind of wobbling in the beginning, but it took me a long time. I spent 7 minutes. Well, I didn't rest at all, but I was just taking it slow and putting on my socks, putting on my helmet, my glasses, and then just taking my bike slowly. I was a little nervous because right as I start biking, I see people already on the side of the road with their hands on their head because their bike's broke. Imagine you spend hundreds of dollars on a race, train for months, only to be stopped by technical issue that maybe you had no control over. Get your gear checked the night before, get your gear checked the morning of. I was putting about 17 to 19 mile per hour speed throughout the race. I headed to T2 pretty fresh, honestly. I took a much shorter time in transition to, it took me about 3.5 minutes. My race pace was anywhere from 7:40 to 8:30 minutes. I took it relatively easy throughout the run. I averaged about 8:10. Walked the uphills. I even walked the downhills because as steep as uphills are, downhills are equally steep and pretty taxing on the knees. I walked the aid stations where I took in ice. They have Coca-Cola in there, which is amazing to get in a race, and the gels. Overall, I didn't cramp. I had constant energy throughout the run, and I was actually negative splitting the race. I also wanted to make sure that I look presentable in the picture, so I was kind of fixing up my hair, fixing up my beard, just fixing myself up and getting ready to run through the finish line, which I'd envisioned for so long. Throughout the 6 weeks that I trained, and even before, because I had plans of doing a 70.3 this year. Ended the year with it. Felt amazing. Towards the end of the run, I think it's very normal to get emotional with all the time you put in the race, all the time you put in the training, all the fear, the anxiety that comes behind the race, especially for me since I was, so scared of the open water and the uncertainty of whether I was going to make it or not. Definitely shed a few tears, but I didn't cry just yet. I don't want to sob through the finish line, so many emotions. So I passed through it. I'm thinking about my friends and family who'd be happy to hear about this. And 70.3 finisher and half Ironman, and yeah. Maintaining muscle mass when doing long hours of training and all the cardio sessions is hitting the weights, and hitting heavy weights is what I try to do. I don't spend a whole lot of time in the gym. Most of my sessions are anywhere from 30 to 40 minutes. I am a big believer in intensity over volume. So lifting weights helps a lot in stabilizing your muscles, stabilizing your joints, and being injury free. Ensuring you're eating enough protein, but also eating enough carbs so you get through your long cardio sessions is, I would say, key in maintaining muscle mass. I would love to run a faster marathon. I would love to do a relatively painful half marathon. I haven't hurt in a half marathon in a while, so I would love to hurt a little bit. I'd like to do a few short distance triathlons where I really push myself in the pace. Of course, I would love to do a full Ironman, because this is where it's leading up to it. I know it's in the horizon for me, but I believe in myself. I believe if I put in the time, I can do it, and I know I will. Fingers crossed. My parting note to the audience would be, surround yourself with people that have aspirations as high as Mount Everest. Surround yourself with friends who support you in what you do, give you honest criticism, honest feedback, hold you accountable, point out when you're heading in the wrong direction, and celebrate with you when you achieve something. Cherish the people that you so much like and love, not only in your mind, but vocalize, spread positivity.